Kyle.
I'm Emily.
And I'm Jack.
And this is what we learned this semester. So during our interviews, we found out a lot, and we found out that leadership is one of the most important things. There's a lot of ways to be a leader, and it's important to be a leader because you need to motivate the employees that work underneath you to actually want to do their jobs. So one of the first ways to be a leader is being a vocal leader. So this is basically just kind of telling employees what to do and not really doing as much work, but kind of motivating your employees just with your voice. There's also team leadership, where you're just kind of a part of the team. You're doing their job and making sure the other employees do their jobs. There's hands-on leadership, and then there's also lead by example. So during all of our interviews, we asked the managers what their most common leadership style was, and the number one example was leading by example. And they enjoyed this because it showed their employees that they were doing their jobs, and it motivated their employees that want to do their jobs.
I think leading by example works best.
I would say leading by example. I think that
I'm more lead by example. Like my
I'm definitely a lead by example person.
So they can kind of lead by example, I think is huge.
So talking more on leading by example means behaving with a poised manner that your employees will catch on to. It is always important to practice what you preach. Otherwise, you might come across as a hypocrite to your employees. So basically, you want to do your job. If you don't lead by example and you're just telling your employees to do a good job, work hard, and you're not working hard for yourself, you're going to look like a hypocrite to your employees, and you're not going to lead them. So talking more about leading by example, it's really important to pitch in. Everyone needs to do their job. They need to make sure it's a group effort and to pitch in and do everything they can to complete a task. So pitching is another good way to lead by example. It shows employees how things should be done while keeping the workload evenly distributed.
Pitch in. I have to do exactly what they're doing.
Delegate work evenly to all employees, and then also for myself, like getting my own work done so it doesn't seem unfair to the other employees, like that they're taking most of the work to themselves.
Another thing we gathered from our interviews was attitude. Keeping a good attitude is everything. And in 2 of my interviews, the managers talked a lot about attitude and how it's very important in the workplace. Keeping a good attitude can impress your manager if you're an employee. It can rub off on your employees if you're a manager. It can attract customers and also establish a positive culture within the workplace.
when I'm excited to come into work or something like that, I feel like that is spread through the store. So attitude is everything. You start your day off with a good attitude, your day's going to be good.
Attitude. If you have a positive attitude and you're smiling, even when things aren't going great, attitude is everything. If you wake up with a bad attitude, it's probably going to be a bad day. You are what you think you are, and if you're having a great day or you're going to make it a great day, it's probably going to be a great day.
Another thing we found that was very important was creating incentives within the workplace. Friendly competition equals positive culture. In order to keep productivity from becoming an issue, try some friendly competition throughout the workplace. It can even keep the culture of the business fun and lighthearted. One thing that we learned too was that gift cards can be a big thing. It can create competition within the workplace, and also company vacations. One of my interviews, they talked specifically about company vacations, and that if they work hard, they get to go to a really cool place afterwards.
I find it incentivizing employees really works well. I have a contest going right now where my employees are trying to win a $25 gift card to Old School Bagel Cafe, and it makes them really excited to compete and do their jobs and do it well, and maybe go above and beyond what they would normally do because they would like to win a gift card.
So we have a lot of different things. We do Employee of the Month, so we give gift cards for that. Then we do a lot of programs or awards based on upselling. So they upsell customers the most in a month, like on chili cheese fries or chili cheese sauce or large side items. They'll get a gift card or award on that as well.
So maintaining a positive culture in your business is a huge way to increase self-motivation. Self-motivation is something that we began discussing in class during the first week of school. How can you get your employees to want to do their jobs?
I think it's really more like self-motivation. Like, we want them to be motivated. But
and smile and tell somebody that, you know, it's great to see you. You look nice. You know, how's everything? Anything I can do for you? Then you're going to get more out of that person.
Being good to your employees and getting respect by giving respect is a good way to get people in the type of spirit to want to work for you and get their job done. Another way to keep employees feeling valued, which is another factor to self-motivation, is by including them and keeping them involved in setting goals for themselves and for the company.
But one thing that I learned early on is that I've got personal goals that I want the company to achieve, but if I put it back on my employees and say, tell me your goals, what do you want to achieve in this company? If they're involved in the goal setting, they take ownership of it from the beginning. And if they don't hit their goals, it's not me they're disappointing, it's themselves.
So at the end of each interview, we asked the manager for a little bit of advice to a college student. So we got a lot of advice back, and some of this is what they told us. So the first thing they told us was to network. And I think every single person in the business world talks about shaking hands and getting to know people and increasing your network. So they definitely wanted us to increase our network, especially while you're in college. And they also talked about holding on to relationships and connections you formed. I know we talked about how you have weak ties and strong ties, and it's important to keep both of those. It's not only important to keep your strong ties, you have to keep your weak ties because you never know when you'll get a business opportunity from some of your network.
Another bit of advice that we got was getting out of your comfort zone. A lot of times we feel like within the workplace there can be kind of a lull in the day, and you can kind of get into your routine and not really pay attention to what all's going on around you. And it's really important sometimes to get out of your comfort zone and do things that you wouldn't normally do. Another thing is to get plenty of work experience. You don't want to just go into any job without any experience because that's really no way to do anything well. So, yeah.
They also told us to be patient, so even when you're new in your position or you have new employees that are training and they're not really catching on as well, you just need to be patient, like with yourself and with your employees and even with like customers that you deal with. And they also said to learn to work with all different types of people. So you're going to get customers and employees that are like grumpy or not easy to work with, and then you're going to have people that like help you succeed and are easy to work with. So it's just good to learn how to work with all the different types of people.
To be flexible and know that every day is going to be a little bit different, and you're going to always deal with different people, and everybody's different. You're going to have great people to deal with, you're going to have not so great people to deal with. So just be flexible and understanding to the other person, because they may be in a situation that you know nothing about. I mean, I don't let yourself get run all over. You know, there are a limit, but find out the situation and what's going on.
When you get in somewhere, just give it everything you got. Be patient, and always be willing to learn as you go. You're gonna learn even from new regular employees. So just definitely keep an open mind always. Okay.
I think the most important thing is to find something that you love and something that you're good at, because you'll never get tired of it and you'll never like want to stop like working hard for it.
All right, just to wrap things up, kind of talking on our topics, the first thing that we learned was leading by example, or knowing your leadership style. It's important to motivate your employees. It's also important to have a good attitude, go to the workplace, have a smile, and actually enjoy your day, because if you love what you do, it's not going to be work. And it's also important to set goals. You want to know what you can do to get to the higher level, and it's also important to have incentives to motivate the employees underneath you.